On the first and most recent episode of the GHM9G from Land and Defense upgrade series with 3D printed parts, we upgraded this absolute chonker of a grip. Now, where yes, 3D printers can be expensive, this grip cost me about 70 cents to make. Which is why printed parts just can't be slept on, and that's why I have a box full of our next upgrades. Today's upgrade on the GHM9G, one thing that I had a problem with is how small the handguard is. There's just really nowhere to mount anything, and I would like a longer inner barrel, which would increase accuracy and FPS. The inner barrel we'll get to in a second, but for now, to increase the length of our outer barrel handguard and some other parts, we have a printed handguard. This is going to be like our barrel nut. We have a new outer barrel. You know, little M-lock angled grip just to add some finesse. A new thread protector, because actually the GHM9G just totally didn't come with a thread protector. And then this is the piece that's going to allow us to connect it all together. Let's continue this upgrade out of the sun. So I actually have yet to disassemble the front handguard or the outer barrel. I hope it's not too difficult. I think it should just be these two screws right here. So we're going to go ahead and remove the top. And there's one on the bottom as well that we have to take apart. And then we'll just attack the base. And I think we actually need both of these for the install. So the nice part is the print is actually able to use some of the hardware that we already have. And that should just slide right forward and off, and there's your old handguard, which is actually plastic already. I believe now to get the outer barrel off, we have to remove the grub screws that are in the base of these two screws. Just because I was looking at, where's that mount? There it is. And you see how there's two grub screw holes down there? And these screws that we took out originally just simply aren't long enough to get down there. So we're going to have to see if they're down there. I believe this is the right Allen key for them. And yeah, you see how they're starting to come up a little bit? We shouldn't have to fully uninstall them, just enough to get them out of the outer barrel and into the upper and lower receiver. Now we should be able to just wiggle that outer barrel out. I actually wound up removing them all the way just so I don't wind up losing them. And there's your hollow outer barrel and your inner barrel. Just be careful, you don't want to bend that now because it's not really stabilized anymore. We should now be able to insert this guy, which is our new mount for the outer barrel and our grip. And that should just slide right over the barrel, and I think that's the direction it goes, where the square is a little, like that square on the inside is a little bit further to the upper side of the receiver. And that should just push in. That actually fits kind of nicely. That's not bad. Now hopefully the grub screws go in all the way. We're just going to go ahead and drop these back into place. We'll use the Allen key that we had originally. And like I said, you're going to want to Loctite a lot of these parts, but I'm actually going to wind up painting them later on. I just haven't done it right now because my main goal is to upgrade this, and you can still see which parts are printed clearly over the course of the next few videos. Just hope that that's going in. I don't know if it is or not. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, we caught. We're good. We're going in. Just gonna screw that guy down. Pretty snug. I've got to go super snug. And then we'll throw that other grub screw on the bottom. If I can get it to install. That side looks like it's going to be an even cleaner path. And that one's nice and snug. All right. Now what we have to do is install this barrel nut, and this is going to be what the handguard clamps around. I don't know if I'm going to have to throw any tape around it to make it even more secure. It should be fine. I'm going to check out the threads. The threads on these actually came out pretty nice. You could see some of the wear from me, like screwing it in and unscrewing it just to loosen it up a bit. But it does install just fine. Let's hope it goes all the way down. It doesn't. Kind of just stops there. But it's all the way up to the edge there, so that should be okay. And I don't think we should notice that space after we throw the handguard on. No, we don't. That actually completely closes it in and makes it disappear. Okay, perfect. Now, before we go any further, I'm actually going to install the outer barrel really quick and the thread protector, just so it's easy to get there later. Thread protector is 14 millimeter counter, so it will take any of your, aftermarket tracer units and suppressors and stuff, whatever you like. We should just be able to screw that guy on in, and that is nice and snug. It looks absolutely ridiculous right now, but that's totally okay. Let's throw this grip on. Should just slide right over the top, and then as we screw in these two screws and bolts, which I'm going to show you in a second, it should clamp down on it and keep it nice and snug. We just got to make sure that it sits straight. And I have just 2 Allen bolts and 2 M4 nuts. I believe these are, I'll put the exact sizes in the description. So the print has little spaces for the nuts to go in so that they sit nice and snug. Go ahead and just press those in, and then we'll take the other one and press that in as well. And then we're just going to throw these little guys on in the opposite side, and then we'll get the other one in. Now if you watch the top as I begin to screw this in, you should notice that it kind of clamps down a little bit, and we're going to try and evenly hit both of them and make sure we keep this guy nice and straight. The nice part is you could see the flush side and then those angles at those 2 beveled edges, and that's a good way to make sure that it stays nice and straight. And we're snug on there. That ain't moving anywhere. Awesome. All right, and finally we're going to install, I just had these 2 screws and the 2 M-lock boots laying around, and then we're going to install our little foregrip here. I think that'll be a nice spot to put it in. We should just be able to put these through. I hope they work. The only problem is I usually like to use an Allen bolt when working on printed parts, because you see how that's a flat edge on the inside of the screw hole. These guys are countersunk, so what happens is as you screw them in, they start to pry outwards a little bit, and that could cause a quick crack in the plastic if it's not strong enough. So hopefully that's not the case. We're just going to go ahead and drop these in. Make sure your boot has the large space facing away from the lower portion of the receiver. That should be enough, and I'll get that other one in place too. And it should sit pretty stable, even though these screws aren't the perfect size for it, just because it has those little M-lock mounts on the inside. And we're just going to go ahead and straighten those out and push those into the receiver. Now I should be able to get a finger in there to keep it from moving around too much. That one's nice and tight. And we're just going to make sure that one's nice and tight as well. Is that in the right space? If I can get like an Allen key in there, I I gotta hold it in the orientation that I want it to stay in while I screw it in. Right. Take a look at that. That's not bad. And last, I completely forgot we have to reinstall these screws up at the top and bottom. I think the long one goes to the top. I hope the long one goes to the top. We'll know by the time it screws in if it screws in all the way or not. And then we'll throw the short one in the base, just like that. There we go. That's not half bad. And just like that, we have a handguard. Now, this, I didn't mention, is printed in ASA plastic with a 2mm nozzle, 100% infill. And I'm using a Bamboo Labs PS1, so just FYI. The handguard looks awesome, in my opinion. I actually really like that. The only negative that I'm having right now is the barrel is not centered, and that's just the design of it. That's just where it screws into place, because the barrel is a little higher to begin with, and the handguard needs to match the entire receiver, so it's a little pointed upwards, and that limits some of the suppressors, either flash hiders and or tracers that you want to put on it. If you choose to keep it like this, it looks just fine, but if you're going to put something extending out the front, it might be a little bit on the high end. So you might want something that's like more like a square in a way that drops down a tad bit, but it looks nice for now. And obviously the rail does extend all the way forwards now, so if you want to throw something like a flashlight or a pressure plate or something on there, you can, no problems. You're just going to have to watch this space, which I don't really think you're going to be using all that much anyway. It feels solid, it feels sturdy. I mean, it adds minimal to no weight to the GHM9G at all. And I actually kind of like it. It's not bad. As always, I didn't design this. I actually downloaded it off Colts 3D. So I will go ahead and leave a link to the creator's download page. So if you want to pick one of these up, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, you'll have to print it yourself. If you're interested in picking one up, let me know, because I can also ship them. I will post them into my Hop-Up app page too, just so that you guys can get a hold of it if you don't have a printer, because I know some companies overcharge for prints, and it's not necessary. But for now, that's the handguard upgrade on the GHM9G from Landed Defense. We're going to throw some more stuff on here, like a stock of mag wheel risers and stuff like that. It's coming. But that's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.